Well, here we are. Came up to the Thomas Lake trailhead today. Indian Heavens, Gifford Pinchot. The bugs aren't so bad yet. We'll see what they are later when we get closer to the lakes. Had some a little bit of mosquitoes getting at me, so we'll see. I brought plenty of bug spray and stuff with me. It's an old sign. Yeah, so here's Thomas Lake on our right. We'll get a better view of it in a second. I fished there before. I don't know if this one is. I didn't check the stock report before I left, but there are some designated campsites here. I'm not sure if anybody's staying in them right now. I've literally only been hiking for 10 minutes maybe to get to this spot. There wasn't any intense uphills or anything, so if this kind of lake is your thing, which I think if you're watching this channel, it probably is. This is the bar is set fairly low to get to this lake. Yeah, I fished here before, never had any luck here. So maybe I didn't give it enough time. But I like how this lake has, I don't know what this one's called, but it's just on the other side of this from Thomas Lake. Some little wood ducks out here. There's one over there. They're diving for some food. Hearing some voices and some dogs up ahead. Wonder if they're staying at this lake or if they're staying at the next one. Just came across some guys out here. I didn't put them on camera at all, but they're out here swimming. They've been doing some fishing too, so they said that Blue Lake is where the fish are. There's another lake or two I might try. I know that that's the Blue Lake is the one everyone goes to go fishing and spend their time at. But I don't think I want to put the names of the lakes that I like to fish on this video. That way not everybody jumps up here and catches up all my fish. Yeah, they were swimming in Thomas Lake. Well, I stopped and put my first round of bug spray on. I kind of set up a little precariously on a log right now. This is a new lake for me to be at, so I'm gonna give it a couple minutes of the old fly pole. See what happens. So I'm gonna put my vest on and get my pole all ready to go. She didn't break. Good. Yeah, I'm set up on this log. Nothing's really level and clear, so I'll get some fishing footage here in a second. All right, you guys haven't missed anything great except for me. These fishing vests, they have a lot of pockets, and I didn't recall exactly which pocket I put my fly reel in, and for a few minutes there I thought for certain that I had left my fly reel. Brought all my flies except for a fly reel. All right, I'm gonna go with something like seems to be a lot of mosquitoes out, so oh, that's not my. I'm just gonna go with like a classic mosquito, just for fun. See if that works. Show you what I'm fishing with here. See if I can. Here, I'll show you this way. So it's, where's the camera at? This one. Come on. Come on, focus, focus, focus. Well, it's like that big. Doesn't really focus very well. See the other pole. I see some fish kind of rolling around over in here, so I'll give it a few minutes, see what happens. So mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are not like comedically frustrating. They are definitely present. I haven't donned the head net yet. Ouch. Just bashed my knee into a log. Also, I'm carrying my fishing pole half put together there. It's the first time ever trying that. Let's see how fast I forget about it. Situational awareness, trying to go through the bushes with it. Trying to film. Yeah, so I've made it through that. I think that was the roughest part of this trail. So this lake is not necessarily it's not on the beaten path. But yeah, I think, so I put on like that was like a mosquito that had some like tinsel on it, but it's really tiny, and it's like noon, so fish probably aren't as likely to bite right now. So I'll head back to the main trail and onto the somewhat more popular lakes. And then we'll probably throw, since it's we're midday right now, the only real chance for catching a fish right now is, in my opinion, is like something a little deeper in the shade. I don't think fish are prone to coming up to bite surface stuff this time of day. But yeah, as long as you're moving, the mosquitoes aren't interested. Let's do some more hiking here. I just remembered a story. Last time I was coming through here, I was going the other direction, going back to the car. I was going southbound on the PCT through Indian Heavens. I gotta stop and get these flowers. Beautiful flowers. No berries yet, just whatever flowers these are. I'll identify those later. Get back to you anyway. So these big kind of mud flats between lakes reminded me of this story where I was So I was hiking southbound on the Pacific Crest Trail, and this weather pattern just showed up out of nowhere, kind of thing. Well, it wasn't out of nowhere, but it was worse than I thought it was going to be. And it was consistently like maybe a 60 degrees high for the day. It was into like the 40s most of the day and night. The night was getting really cold. So I don't recall where I started that trip. It may have been Packwood, I think. But so I was several days in, and it was just raining, just soaking wet. In the first couple days, I was managing, but there was no like drying out period. So I was just soaking wet with this cold, and no matter what, you're wet, so you're just soaked. So I got up here to actually it was right off Blue Lake, and I stopped short for the day because I just need to make sure I stay warm tonight. And so I set up my tent, which was a single wall tent. It was the Pleximid, the Dyneema tent, excellent tent, except for when it's rainy. It's a single wall, it's extremely small. It's good for like an ultralighter, but when you're needing, like actually need to dry out, it's not just a want. You need something a little more substantial. So I was in this tent, really high humidity, really cold. Did a no-no, and I actually put my stove on inside my tent, like being conscious of like the gas buildup in there. But I just needed a little bit of heat. I tried to dry my socks out over the flames, and I think the humidity was so high that the moisture just has nowhere to go. So it just, your socks don't dry out. They get warm for a few minutes and then they get cold again. So long story short, I used my Spot Mini to message my wife, who's 2 hours away, and coordinated efforts with her and a few friends to come get me. But that meant I had to hike out at I think it started at 9 p.m. because I was convinced that it was better to risk hiking at night and being lost and all that, than, because I was just getting colder and wetter the longer I sat there. So I had to move. So my wife and friends headed up the mountain as I headed down from the lakes down to the trailhead. So this trail, it's pretty easy to follow in this kind of weather, but sideways rain with near hypothermia like conditions, pitch dark. I don't know if it was no moon or it was just a heavy cloud cover, but it was dark. So yeah, this is much more pleasant to walk on when you can see where you're stepping and you're convinced you're not lost or paranoid. But yeah, that's my story about, now that I say that story, I think maybe I told this story in a previous video, but maybe it's worth telling twice. So everything worked out. I was able to, got to the trailhead after a couple hours. Just for safety's sake, the whole time I was hiking down the trail, I had my Spot Mini on, and I would, anytime I turned or made a choice on trail where I was trying to trail find, I'd send a message saying this is where I'm at. Usually when you send those messages, it sends your coordinates along with your text. So I think I sent like 9 or 10 different messages saying like I made it to the edge of this mud flat, or like I turned left, headed west or northwest, or whichever direction I was headed. So relevant information at the time. So the two things I think that did was created a trail. So if I did get lost or hurt or something, there would be a really specific trail of messages to lead people to exactly where I am. And then also, it kept my mind active enough to keep track of where I'm at. Making very conscious efforts to send accurate messages kept me more alert. But yeah, so I hiked down after sending all those messages, hiked down to the trailhead. My party wasn't there yet. I was thinking, well, maybe I'll just hang out in the porta potty at the trailhead, and decided not to because it was rank really bad. So I needed to stay moving. So I just started hiking down the road. Yeah. So I hiked down the road, and they found me on the road about 1.5 miles later, or something like that, down the road. Whew. All right. I think I'm nearly up the hill here between Thomas Lake and Blue Lake. Give you guys a break from my heavy breathing for a few minutes. A little peak of that's not Adams, is it? It must be Adams. There's a little peak of Mount Rainier. I was gonna say it was St. Helens at first, and then I looked at it and was like, that doesn't look like, it looks more like Adams. But then like I'm looking north right now, so that is Rainier. Huh. Really start questioning myself. And I can't identify the mountain I've been hiking around nearly my whole life. Admittedly though, I haven't spent much time around Rainier. And they do look different from year to year because of snowfall and whatnot. Now I'm just making excuses, but yeah, I'm still going up this hill. Going to Blue Lake. It's a little timber tiger. All right, let me go deal with this tree. For those of you that don't know, this like the trees and this environment in this time of year, this kind of heat, there is just a smell of pine or fir, just all these needles on the ground. They just make the whole place smell like clean, warm pine trees. It's one of my favorite smells. And it seems to come in pockets also, so you'll go through like a warm area that's particularly strong with that smell. It's really nice. Alright, so I've been out here fishing for a few minutes. I hooked a few little guys. One really probably about 7 inch, 8 inch, something like that. Really bright cutthroat. But I've switched away from the little mosquito to this little bead head. See, it's like a yellow. It's really tiny, but it's, man, yellow works so good up in these lakes. That bead head, a little bit easier to cast. There's a little bit of wind going on, and then it also sinks down. It's like 140 right now, so it's a little bit past midday. But yeah, let's see if I can catch another one. I saw something. They're interested. Well, here's my first views of Blue Lake. It's very blue. In a few minutes I'll be down here. See how many people are camped out down here. Definitely strange. I've seen like 4 groups of people. And besides my car, there were 2 pickup trucks at the trailhead. So I'm trying to think. And one was like a family with a bunch of kids. I can't see them doing anything other than heading back to the trailhead. The other one was like a group of like 4 guys. I was thinking initially it was both pickup trucks with those guys, but maybe they're getting picked up, maybe getting a ride to, not sure. But surely there's no one else out here. All right, so here's the lake. It's pretty. It's a pretty lake. There's nobody out on the peninsula out there. Wouldn't be a bad time to take the opportunity to stay there. No one else out here. It'd be nice. A little bit of wind exposure isn't bad when there's bugs and heat. Came out here, it's like Memorial Day or something like that. That doesn't make sense because it wouldn't be that warm then, but I had lunch right here, and like there was like 10 or 15 tents set up along the opposite shoreline over there. For like maybe 100 people. What's this in the water? Oh, all the fish parts. They just flayed all their fish. Oh, hopefully they were tasty. All right, so this video I'm gonna do something a little different. I brought a few fly tying supplies with me, some different colors, a couple tools, a little box of thread and hooks and things. Go ahead and tie a fly, hopefully. Hopefully it resembles something that a fish likes. But yeah. This is the first time attempting tying a fly this way as well. I'm going to attempt just, instead of using like a table vise, I'm going to try just using a clamp shoved in my shoe. And if I could just move this down a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to just take this clamp, hook onto my hook, and just, that's my thought. But actually, because I'm right-handed, I'm going to put it in this other shoe. Put it in this shoe. There. It should work. Biggest fly you've ever seen. Little blue tail, yellow body. Look at the bead. Look at the beads on there. Kind of see it a little bit. Yeah, there she goes. So I'll go tie this on and give her a fling, see if she catches anything. All right, I got my ugly little tie tied on here. She's not so little for this lake. She's actually jumbo size. So we'll see if any takers. It's also pretty windy. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cast very well. So I've discovered something today for the first time. So there is a wind that can prevent you from having a good time fly fishing, and at the same time is not strong enough to blow away the mosquitoes. I always thought that it was either one or the other. Like if you had enough wind to spoil your fly fishing, then at least you don't have the mosquitoes, but apparently that's not true. So I'm making up camp. I got my tent going. I got my, where is it at? It's my chair. So I'm gonna hang out in camp for a while, make some dinner, probably check in with you guys making dinner, and then probably just say goodbye once I get in bed. We'll see. I'll check in with you later when can you see those mosquitoes? Yeah. I'll check in when I'm. So I've resorted to, so I have this hood, the white hood is underneath my bug netting. Then I have my bug netting hood on, and then the blue hood over that. My hat keeps the bug netting away from my face most of the way. But the main problem is, so the top half is pretty good. I feel pretty secure from the mosquitoes. The problem is my legs. Yeah. So far they're not really getting my legs though. I have deeded twice. I have 100% deet that I've put on my legs 2 times. And they really, I guess that makes them not interested at all. But we're doing some dinner here. Turn the camera around so you guys can see what I'm. I think I'll be making some spaghetti tonight. So before I even get the stove going, I want to experiment with getting better hydration on the chicken specifically. I'm going to try doing like a cold soak, like a pre-cold soak before I heat everything up. So I'll put all the spaghetti in my pot here. It's got spaghetti sauce, corn, and like a chicken breast. It's all ground up inside there. So I'm gonna put some water in that and let it cold soak for a little while. Give it a little extra time. That's it's just barely submerged. definitely need more than that. Okay, let's try that much. All right, there she is. Come back in a little while. Just doing a cold soak on that spaghetti and see what it looks like in a few minutes. Okay, so update. It's been about 12 minutes since my last video. I'm still mosquito repellent here. And I've actually donned the rain pants. So I am now, should be covered. I don't think mosquitoes can bite through rain pants. So I soaked the spaghetti for about 10 minutes cold. It did soak up quite a bit of the water. So now I'm boiling it, see how long I have to boil it. Well, getting it hot. So it'll only boil for a few minutes, I guess. But it's gonna be a beautiful night, I think. Clouds are moving in a little bit, but they don't really look like rain clouds. They just look like high misty clouds way up there. So that's probably the wind brought those in. Maybe she'll die down in a few minutes and I can go fishing again. Can hope anyways.